Hi, my name is Ben Alexander, and I have autism, and today I'm going to give you a motivational message about pushing through the pain. And it's probably not a fun topic to talk about. It's definitely a very uncomfortable topic to talk about, pushing through the pain and becoming resilient. It's not easy, and not everybody's able to understand this before it's too late. And I struggle with this too. There's no such thing as perfection either. And, when you realize that there's no such thing as perfection, it makes pushing through the pain a lot easier. And it's hard for me because I'm a self-proclaimed perfectionist. I do not like making mistakes. I want everything to be perfect, mistake-free. That's just how I'm wired. And when I make mistakes, I beat myself up to the point where I keep myself down, and I should be able to be resilient and get up and keep trying again. And it's difficult. It's very difficult. And, life presents a bunch of challenges, and, and being authentic, everybody knows that life's got its ups and downs. Let's just say that. We'll say life has a bunch of its ups and downs. Everybody knows that. Everybody's had good days and bad days. That's just life. And, I feel like social media, in a way, tries to present a reality that's not necessarily reality and gets people confused. For example, like a lot of people have really nice cars, go on these awesome vacations just to begin, have the perfect body, you know what I mean? They use a bunch of filters and all that stuff, and people use those standards to judge themselves, and then they feel bad about their life because they're not successful. And again, I struggle with this too. It's just part of the generation we're growing up in, and it's just part of social media. It's probably one of the negatives about the internet. And I know on my channel I've talked about ad nauseum about the internet's positives and negatives, because there are positives. Because let's be honest, if there wasn't any positives, I really don't think the internet would exist. Like, who in the heck wants negative? Who wants to just willy-nilly get into negative behavior and just do things that hurt you just for the fun of it? And I don't see anybody doing that. I don't see anybody saying, like, I just want to hurt myself because it's fun. Nobody says that. Nobody says that. Nobody says that. Everybody's trying to be like, okay, how can I make my life less painful? And again, I understand, but you can't avoid all pain. You can avoid some pain. And it's good when you can avoid pain. Yeah, absolutely. Go for it. But you cannot avoid all of it. And when you have to go through pain, you're going to have to learn how to have a high pain tolerance. You're going to have a high pain tolerance. You're going to have to learn how to do it over time. And I definitely think as you age, it helps out a lot. As a kid, it's like, you expect everything to be perfect, and, it's all fun and games and all that stuff. And then, as an adult, it starts to get serious. And even as a kid, you got to go to school, and there's expectations. And when expectations come, that's sometimes where pain comes in, and that's where you really have to, because you can't avoid it, because you're forced to do things you're not necessarily want to do, and that's just life. And you just gotta face and be like, what, I know this sucks, but at the end of the day, I could still find a way to choose gratitude. I could still find something good despite it being bad, despite my situation not being what I want it to be. I could find something that's good. everybody struggles with this, even me. Like, it is so hard to be grateful when life hits you hard, and when you're really struggling, and you're wondering what's the next step. Well, I believe the next step is really looking yourself in the mirror and holding yourself accountable to a standard, and you got to be like, okay, what do I need to do? And also slow the pace down to life. I know I really struggle with this because I'm always go, 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 go. We're all in hamster wheels, hamster wheels. I feel like that's a lot of our lives right now. And just finding ways to slow down the pace of life, it's very difficult. And I live in America, by the way. And yeah, it's a lot of go, 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 go. We live a very fast-paced life. And I believe that's part of the reason why a lot of people struggle with anxiety, is because our life it's very fast-paced. Everything's so fast-paced. And I think we all got to learn how to recharge and rewire our brains to slow down. It's very difficult, but through discipline and hard work and just determination, I believe those things, those three key ingredients, are very, very, very important for success in life. And also being compassionate and merciful and gracious and fair and honest, full of integrity, professional attitude, all those things. I can keep listing things that are very important for life success. And we're all searching for something. We are all searching for something. Whether it's... So we're looking for a solution to our problem. A lot of people turn to religion like Christianity, Judaism, Islam. A lot of people turn to religion when it comes to that. Trying to find the problems and trying to find a purpose in life. And then there are other people that are just, okay, let's make the best of what we can do. Let's really look at ourselves in the mirror and get organized. I've gone to a Christian church my whole life, and I believe there are good things that come from Christianity. And, I do consider myself a Jesus follower, even though it's hard. And I want to publicly profess that because I believe it's important to share with you the truth and who the truth is. And I don't do everything correctly, but I know Jesus protects me, and I know he'll get me through the painful times. And I don't understand it all in entirety now, and there's definitely times where I sit there, it's like, man, does Jesus really love me? Does Jesus care? But I believe in professing his name, and when we profess his name, God is happy. And, when you serve the Lord and you strive to make him as happy, striving to make him happy, a lot of people have been happy about that. I've seen people on Instagram, I've seen a lot of Christianity reels, and, it just something hits me every time. There's something there on Christianity and God and Jesus. There's something there. That's how I push through the pain. But again, I'm not going to force anybody to ever adapt my style, because God doesn't force anybody to be with him. He's given us free will. And I want to make sure that's clear. I know people are like, well, this guy's a Christian. I don't want to listen to him. I'm not pushing it on anybody. I'm just telling you who he is. You can completely ignore Jesus all you want. That's your right. You have the choice. The Great Commission of the Bible. We're supposed to tell others about Jesus, not force them into submission, not force them to become like Jesus, even though they don't want to be like Jesus. And that's part of the Great Commission, is we're supposed to tell people and share our stories. And I know, being on the spectrum, the autism spectrum, and being a Christian, I don't know a whole lot of people on the spectrum that are Christian. I just don't. And, again, I'm not going to force anybody to believe in religion. That's not who I am. I don't force anybody to do anything. I just want to warn you about realities of life. That's why I started this channel. Is I want people to learn more about autism, and I also want people on the spectrum to understand the realities of life. Life doesn't give you the autism excuse. We're all going to come to face negative consequences for our actions. I'm a big believer that autism's not an excuse for bad behavior, even though it's very easy to use that crutch. Trust me, I've used it a couple times, and I shouldn't, because it's very convenient, because we don't want to do the things that we should. And that's part of the problem. And, the sinful struggles, we are all sinners. And that's part of the Great Commission, is just to explain that Jesus died on the cross and rose from the third day, for us. So he paid the price for sins in submission. All you have to do is repent and turn towards Jesus if you want him in your life. And, if you want me to talk more about spirituality, please let me know in the comments, because I'd love to share more about my Christian faith in the comments section. And I'd love to make more videos about Christian faith. I think it'd be cool to talk about it, but I just don't know if you guys want to talk about it. But I will say, when I believe adding Christian faith's necessary, I want to be able to inject that as well. But I understand a lot of people want to come to me for autistic advice, not spirituality advice. But I do believe when we talk about motivational messages and, talking about mindset and all that stuff, obviously religion's going to be brought into it, because a lot of the world practices religion. Of course, atheism's a huge thing too. Believing that there isn't a God that exists. And, like I said, I've grown in the church my whole life, and I'm not trying to force anybody into anything. And I hope I'm clear on that, and I hope you understand that I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to trigger anybody. I'm just trying to tell you the truth. And yes, the truth hurts sometimes, but it's also not the end of the world. Because at the end of the day, it's temporary pain. Once you grasp the truth and learn from it and correct your mistakes, I think it will be a lot easier to move forward. But it's not easy, because the past, Satan will use the past. The devil will use the past to condemn you and to try to make you feel awful about yourself. And this is something I struggle with, because he uses the past a lot. It's like, well, you don't live a very good life. Look at what you're doing. You're doing X, Y, and Z wrong. And I'll be honest, I haven't quite reached full maturity when it comes to that quite yet. But I will say I'm trying to learn more about God. I've always been trying to learn more about God, really since high school. I've been trying to learn a lot more about God. I'm trying to learn more about the truth and the meaning of life. And that's kind of where I'm coming to. And again, if you guys want to comment what's the meaning of life, I would love to be able to talk about that as well. I probably should come up with a video, and maybe at some point. I don't want to promise any dates, because I don't want to make a promise and not fulfill it. So I don't want to promise anything, but I do need to keep that on my mind, that it is a video idea to make a video about what's the meaning of life. And I think everybody, whether autistic or non-autistic, will latch into that. And, I appreciate you listening to the end of my videos. I hope you got something good out of this. And I really hope that I have encouraged you, and I've at least kind of gotten you to think about areas where you can make your life a little bit better. Because again, I believe in encouragement. I believe being encouraging is something that we could all practice doing better. And really communicating our intentions with one another. That's huge. That's huge. Just being able to communicate our intentions to each other. And, are you gonna go through the pain? Are you gonna be able to handle discomfort in order to get to the next level? And I'll end with that. And I appreciate you for sticking to the end of my video. And I wanted to tell you about a challenge that I set at New Year's, which is about a month ago already. I can't believe we're in February already. It's crazy. But, I set it over a month ago. And basically, the goal of it was to spread autism awareness. And I have a mystery series coming up. So I decided if I got 1,000 YouTube subscribers by April 1st, I'll reveal to you what the mystery series is. And at the same time, I'm hoping that this spreads more autistic awareness. And again, I don't wish pain on anybody. And I'm not going to force you to do anything. I'm not going to force you to subscribe to my channel if you don't want to. That's fine. But I really would appreciate if you would subscribe, like, and share my videos so I can help more autistic people and parents on the spectrum and whoever will find this useful. Or you just want to learn more about autism. I want to reach those people. And I really appreciate you sticking to the end of my videos. And I'll see you in the next one.